had actually rained in parts of Achimota, Abofu, Abelengpe, all these areas. I think there's been slight rainfall over the night, but in some parts of the country too, I don't think there's been any rains at all. But it's a Monday morning. We are attacking this week with vim. It's a new weekend, it's a Monday, and of course, I'm up for it. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to a great week ahead. Top of the morning to you, wherever you're joining us from. It's always a pleasure to come your way here on Good Morning Africa with the newspaper headline segment of the show. A tad later, I'm going to be bringing you the review segment, or Kwame Osudanso will bring you the review segment of the show with Honorable Segbefia and Dr. Marzuk, as well as Solomon Owusu of the Movement for Change, to discuss topical African and Ghanaian issues. Over the weekend, a lot has been happening, or a lot actually happened over the weekend. We'll start with that unfortunate incident with the National Communications Officer of the New Patriotic Party, Richard Anyagba, being involved in an accident. But we are very happy about the fact that he has been able to come out of it unscathed. Yes, we thank God for his life, absolutely. And also, we do know that over the weekend, the National Democratic Congress, they had their very big launch of their campaign in the northern regional capital in Tamale. Pan-African Television brought you a live feed of whatever transpired over there. We've as well shared pictures with you regarding that campaign launch in Tamale. There's a host of issues. The conversations about the ambulance spare parts deal is still ongoing. Persons belonging to the New Patriotic Party have been speaking about the economy. Kweku Kwarteng, who is a former finance minister, has been speaking about the fact that we need a reset, and it appears we've been managing the country's economy like a Ponzi scheme. And so all these conversations have been here and there. Also, Ochihini has rebuffed that claim regarding the Japadia document. According to him, he has absolutely no idea about it. I think all of you know what the Japadia document is about. That book that spells out the grand scheme of alleged grand scheme, I should put it, of persons who belong to the Achim stock to take over the resources of the country going forward. Ochihini has come out to say that, look, disregard this. We have got nothing to do with this. I'm sure would go into the details of that conversation a tad later on the newspaper review segment of the show. But I want to thank you so much for keeping it logged here on Pan-African Television. Those of you watching us in the 46 other African countries via satellites, those of you watching us in some parts of Europe and South America, we are extremely grateful for your time. We should be live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook at facebook.com/Pan-African Television, also on youtube.com/Pan-African Television. My name is Koku ALORMASOR. Bless Koku ALORMASOR. I am your driver for this segment of the show. We shall shortly be looking at the various newspapers to see the stories that are trending, and I'm going to I want to start with the Insight newspaper because the Insight newspaper is our very own, and so I'm going to be starting with the Insight newspaper. The banner headline says, "Economic hardship bites as unemployed man threatens suicide by August." If being a leader in Ghana, personality and character, we were waiting for the God's return from trip of Anko Nsawam project manager explains delay, and NATO accelerates its conflict with China. All right, and so there you have it for the front page of today's edition of the Inside newspaper. There's one thing I love about the Inside newspaper. It's so cheap, it's easy on your pocket. With just 4 Ghana cedis at any newspaper stand, you can grab a copy and read these stories that are very authentic. Very authentic. None of them is a hoax. The best journalistic principles have been put in or inculcated into the stories that appear on the front page and inside the Insight newspaper. Visit the InsideNewsOnline.com. Alternatively, if you do not want to just go to a newspaper stand and buy one, you can visit the InsideNewsOnline.com to read the stories that are on there. Now let's move on to the Republic Press. Okay, I think there's a paper on the screen. I'm going to continue with the rest of the papers from the screen. Change to reset Ghana. Change to reset Ghana. And so I see the leadership of the National Democratic Congress there on the front page. I see the flag bearer and running mate, that is Mr. John Dramani Mahama and Madam Jane Nano Pukwajima respectively. I see the national organizer of the party, Mr. Yamin. I see the general secretary of the party, Fifi Fiafi Kwete, as well as the party chairman, Johnson Asiedun Kitia, the national women's organizer. I see here also, I see the national communications officer of the party, Sami Jemfi, as well as the man who is the national youth organizer of the National Democratic Congress. So some more stories on the front page of the Daily Democrat. It says, what did you use the 620 billion Ghana cedis borrowed in 7 years for? Kofi Potterfi asks NPP. Family petitions IGP others over murder of Achechi Krom. Military and police invade Nungwastu lands at Botiman, adjoining Ghana, demolish structures without court order. And finally, lawyer Chum Berima graduates with Master of Science degree in international relations. And so yeah, lawyer Chum Berima is one of the communicators of the National Democratic Congress. He's also a private legal practitioner. Now let's do some more stories. Let's do some more papers. We do the New Crusading Guide newspaper next. It says AU adopts Akufo-Addo's continent-wide interoperability. Yes, it's got to do with the transfer of money from one network to the other. I feel like this is long overdue. I'm in Ghana, I use MTN. I should be able to send money to another MTN user, perhaps in Nigeria or in South Africa or Uganda or Kenya. It should even be cross networks. I should be able to send money from Telecel Ghana to Glow Nigeria. It should be possible. I feel that it is high time that came into being. So yep, Africa has lagged behind, and I think that this is one of the things that we have lagged behind in. Ada Paramount Chiefs appeal to Parliament to adopt Songo salt mining report. Also, Odoi Kese family wants land grabbers. Stories on page 10. Ofori fee was prominent before Akufo-Addo. Ochihini rubbishes Ejapade fiction. In the matter of the adjoining Ghana land dispute, Harris Muda, two others cited for contempt. Don't dirty new houses as you do your barracks. Henry Korte fires, please. And finally, NPP electrifies Bole Bamboy as Raphael Kuma vows to snatch seats. There you have it for the front page of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. On to the next one, we have the Republic Press. Reform or perish, Kweku Kwateng wants NPP. NPP Sahiagba escapes death. Party says he is stable. Police officers put on notice as Henry Korte warns against untidy habits in new houses. Ochehene dismisses a Japadia document. Baumia shares plan for brighter Ghana. A great minister confirms stabilized tomato prices during market visit. That's all for the front page of the Republic Press newspaper. Now let's move on to the next one. We have the Daily Analyst newspaper. I'll never tell you lies. Mahama assures Ghanaians as he launches campaign. reject Akufo-Addo's pressure and be firm. Asiedu Nketia charges IGP and CDS over December 7. Ghana's economy is run like a Ponzi scheme. This is Kweku Kwating, former Finance Minister. And Ghana Corporate Brands Awards 2024 Priority Insurance wins Motor Insurance Brand of the year. And finally, on the front page of today's edition of the Daily Analyst newspaper, don't dirty new houses as you do your barracks. Interior Minister wants police officers. That's all for the front page of the Daily Analyst newspaper. Now let's proceed. We have today's edition of the Daily Graphic newspaper, which is Ghana's oldest newspaper, Truth and Accuracy Every Day. That is their tagline. The biggest story on the front page: NDC ignites flame for change. NDC ignites flame for change. Set stage for 2024 election showdown. AU adopts President Akufo-Addo's continent-wide interoperability. And finally, on today's edition of the Daily Graphic, ICGC starts annual Greater Works Conference today. And that's all for the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Now on to the Daily Searchlight. In the land of the blind, Haruna touts Mohammed's experience, and that story is on pages 2 and 9. Don't allow NPP's poor performance to discourage you from voting. Ato Forsen, NPA boss sweeps 2 awards at the Ghana CEO Awards 2024. Now, Akufo-Addo must assure Ghanaians of handing over to whoever wins. This coming from the party chairman for the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. And Oji Ahoho, Oji Ahoho Science and Tech Fair trains over 2,000 students in Western North region. All right. And finally, NDC launches campaign for 2024 general elections. And that's all for the Daily Searchlight newspaper. Now let's do the Daily Post newspaper. From left to right, you see the former president and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama. Also there is the running mate or the vice presidential candidate of the NDC, Madam Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman. There is the party chairman, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, and of course there is the minority leader of parliament and member of parliament for the Ejumaku Enyan Esiem constituency, KCL, Ato Forsen. It is not about how long you serve, but how well you serve, Mahama says as he launches campaign in Tamale. It's been 8 years of corruption, lies, and incompetence. This coming from Ato Forsen. Mahama's Women Development Banks target women with interest and collateral-free loans. Professor Nana Jane, you'll find yourself alone on the day of accountability if you follow the orders from above. Asiedu Nketia reminds security heads. And today's edition, there you have it for the Daily Post newspaper. Now on to the Ghanaian publisher. Mohammed's inconsistency exposed. August 2016, 4 years not enough. July 2024, 4 years is enough. Ochehene rubbishes Ejapade fiction of a repaying was prominent before Akufo-Addo, and AU endorses Akufo-Addo's interoperability proposal. Boteman land dispute. Captain Koda, 2 others face contempt. And so that's all for the front page of today's edition of the Ghanaian publisher newspaper. Finally, okay, I think there was a final story there. Can we go back? Can we? There was a final story on the front page. Yes, 18.5 million Soko projects impacting lives in the North. Story is on page 2 of today's edition of the Ghanaian publisher newspaper. On to the next one. Now let's do the Yankar newspaper. 13-year-old orphan sexually abused at Winneba. Traumatized boy unable to walk properly. Wow. Deputy NLA boss wins Woman in Corporate Governance Award. Ashaleboche family drags 3 to court for contempt. Women intensify fibroid awareness campaign. Push its inclusion on National Health Insurance Scheme. NPP electrifies Mohammed's backyard as Raphael Kuma vows to snatch Bolly Bamboy seats. And that's all for the Anchor newspaper. Now let's do the Custodian newspaper. 530 Soko projects improve lives in 6 regions. Baumia terrifies NDC in northern Ghana. AU accept Akufo-Addo's continent-wide interoperability. NPA boss grabs 2 honors at Ghana CEO Awards. Agave Paramount chief accused of impersonation. Right, that's all for the Custodian newspaper. Have you got any more? Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. AU adopts Nanes payments system for Africa. Harness resources to enhance continental trade. NLA Deputy Director General Annette Ochenhene rubbishes Ejapade fiction. Right? The Daily Guide newspaper. It chose not to do the story in relation to the NDC's campaign launch, and understandably so. Do we have any more papers? All right, let's do the Ghanaian Observer. AU welcomes Akufo-Addo's continent-wide interoperability. 18.5 million Soko investment yields positive results in northern Ghana. 320 new housing units. Henry Quarter cautions police don't dirty new houses. Baumia donates pickup to Hilal Iman Senior High School. Free SHS most impactful social intervention over time. Wilsa Overlord. Right. And that's all for the Ghanaian Observer. Let's proceed to the Daily Dispatch. NDC's labeling of Baumia as a liar has failed because on 23 issues he has been vindicated. Mahama said in 2016 that if I want the North to support me, MEP should first elect me as their flag bearer. Baumia, okay. The Daily Dispatch, there you have it for the front page. On to the next one. Let's do the Chronicle. We are behind you, our son, Talensi and Brisa Chiefs tell Baumia, we won't sleep for 48 hours during election, Mahama. Boteman Maijo land dispute, 3 being hauled to court for contempt. Akufo-Addo's proposal for financial interoperability in Africa accepted by Africa Union. We are behind you. I think I've already done that. I'll win Bolly Bamboy seat for MPP. Raphael Kuma vows, and so that's all for the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. On to the Supreme newspaper. Clash of the Northerners. Baumia crowd in constituency events surpasses Mohammed's national campaign launch. NPA boss sweeps 2 awards as Ghana CEO Awards 2024. NLA boss Samir Wuku breaks ground for 4 million Ghana City Mampong Coronation Park. And East Legon residents warn Harry Dawson over illegal demarcation of, okay, the rest not so clear. Unfortunately, I can't read it. Youth in Adan rally behind parliamentary report on Songo salt mining project. And NPA boss sweeps 2 awards at Ghana CEO Awards 2024. And finally, remain the Apollonia chief, Ni Noete Amobi II, insists. Calls for regulation of land documents. Okay, there you have it for the Supreme newspaper. Okay, I think that's all for today's edition of the newspaper headlines. Very, very interesting stories there. I think majority of the stories have got to do with the NDC's campaign launch. I feel like newspapers that are that have a little bias towards the National Democratic Congress, they were big on it. Aside the national newspaper, that is the Daily Graphic newspaper, which chose to prioritize that particular story. Most of the other papers, which are not really, receptive towards the NPP, did not prioritize it. But of course, I know that is the biggest story. We are going to be looking at that conversation on the newspaper review segment of the show. Also, the new police headquarters. Police accommodation that has been provided for them. Henry Quartey has been in the news as well. I think that also was one of the trendiest stories as far as the newspapers, today's newspapers are concerned. The Olympics still ongoing. Ghana has about 7 representatives. Just seven representatives. You look at the likes of the United States of America that has over 570. The US has about 570 something, representatives. France, I know, has about some 500 and something as well. Ghana just 7, and there is a tall list of officials that will be going to the. That are actually in Paris already with just the 7 people. That's like about 60 something. It's not any different with is it Kenya or so, or some other African country too. Africa, see, we are just a wonderful bunch. Like, we are just a wonderful group of people. So just about 7 athletes. Then 67 officials or so are going to be taking care of just these 7 athletes. I don't know what sort of work they are going to do there. I don't know, but we wish Team Ghana the very best. Some countries have been able to secure medals already. Nigeria, unfortunately, has had a lot of issues to deal with. It appears they are on the cusp of elimination as far as football is concerned. Yes, last night I think we witnessed a thriller between Australia and Australia and I think Uganda in women's football. The match ended 6-5 in favor of Australia. I was quite disappointed because consistently the Ugandans were actually leading by a 2-goal margin. Only for me to check at the end of the 90 minutes to realize that they had actually lost the game. I don't know what happened there for that to happen, but it's been interesting so far. The whole opening ceremony of Paris 2024 has been nothing but very, very nice. It's been quite the spectacle, if you ask me. The very first time in the history of the Olympics that it's been held outside of a stadium. Yep, that is the Paris Olympics. You see the gigantic Eiffel Tower in the background with the likes of Celine Dion wowing audience and spectators at the venue. It was quite the sight. A very beautiful opening ceremony that it was. I think one Nigerian athlete too has been banned for doping. Is it Nigerian, or I think one Nigerian athlete has been banned for doping. And it's quite sad. Yes, so it wasn't Uganda. It was actually Zambia. The Zambian women's team. They were beaten by Australia 6-5. I was disappointed because by first half I think they were leading 4-1 or so, 4-2. Yeah, 4-2 at the end of proceedings in the first half. 4-2. They came back in the second half. 5-2, 5-3. Then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. They capitulated and they lost the game by 6-5. But Banda made history by becoming the first woman in the history of the Olympics to score 3 hat-tricks. He's actually netted 3 hat-tricks at the Olympics, and that's quite a phenomenal achievement. Elsewhere, USA women, they beat Germany women by 4-1. Also, Brazil lost to Japan by 2-1. Interesting. While Spain and Nigeria, it turned out to be a 1-0 win for the Spanish national team. Nigeria did so well in that game. They did so well in that game, only to be beaten through a set piece. And I'm sure they are going to feel hard done by with regards to how things panned out in that game. I'm sure they wished at least they should have settled for a draw. Now they have to win their next game to to stand any chance of qualification into the next round. Also, Colombia women beat New Zealand women by 2-0, while the host nation, France, they lost to Canada by 2-1. So interesting, very, very interesting outcome there as far as the games, that is the Olympic Games, is concerned, right? So yep, this is where I'll end today's edition of the newspaper headline segment of Good Morning Africa. But a reminder that we are proudly sponsored by Mont Natural Mineral Water. It is the best to sate your thirst. Mont is the best to sate your thirst. The best to sate your thirst. I think I just found them, you know, a catchy tagline. Mont Natural Mineral Water, the best to sate your thirst. If you do not have proper diphthongs training. Yeah, but the other tagline I think is don't drink alone. Mont Natural Mineral Water, don't drink alone. So yep, you're thirsty, the best natural mineral water to get is Mont. Make sure that you get some, walk into any supermarket. It's not expensive. Only sells for, you only need a few cedis to buy Mont Natural Mineral Water. If in case you want you want to buy in bulk quantities, maybe you want to distribute, you want to retail, there's a number to call, that is 0599 04409, 05999 04409. That is the number to call if you want to purchase Mont Natural Mineral Water in bulk quantities, so that you can also sell and then make some profits. Mont Natural Mineral Water, don't drink alone. Right, coming up next, we are going to be playing you a short documentary about the Venezuelan election. You know, Pan-African television's omnipresence is one that nobody can deny, and so we are everywhere. We decided to travel all the way to Venezuela to cover their elections, and the results are out. The NMM got about 51.2% of the votes, while the EG got about 44.2%, and the Otros got 4.6%. We shall play a short documentary of what transpired or what has been happening in Venezuela as far as the election is concerned. But right after that, my Monday guest. I love my Monday guests for the very fact that they are Monday and Friday. They are about the most punctual people who appear on the show. Monday and Friday, very, very punctual. So yes, Honorable Segbefia would be here. Also, Solomon Owusu. I understand they are even already here. Solomon Owusu of the Movement for Change, and Alhaji Dr. Marzouk, who is a lecturer at the University of Applied Management. My name is ALORMASOR. Always a pleasure coming your way with the newspaper headline segment of the show. But do not move a muscle. Right after this documentary, I'm coming your way again with the newspaper review segment of the show. Do not move a muscle. Do stay.